The Book of the Conquests by Jim FitzPatrick. Part 1. The Story of Tuon. I am Tuon. I am legend. I am memory turned myth. Mine is the voice that speaks the story. It cannot be told truly except by me, for it is I who have unlocked the words from the secret hoard of my heart and mind. This is my story. Born a child of the golden age, I spoke first the innocent words of men, but to learn the secrets inscribed by time, I hearkened to dark whispers of ancient craft. I have lived through life in many forms. I have been man and beast, sea and sky. I have died and been reborn more often than I can truly remember. I have witnessed what the wisest never imagined. I have trodden ways beyond all dreaming of man. I have lived through the dark age of the earth, when savagery and sorcery shadowed the land. Great cities of gold tumbled beneath raging seas, and slumbering monsters rose from the deep. All fair works perished. The power of evil turned bright day into perpetual night. The children of the earth were lost in darkness, threatened by death. I, Tuan, once a king, hid in the shape of beast and bird, and locked the speech of man in the fastness of my heart. I am Tuan, I am legend. I am guardian of man's courage and his dreams. By turf embers my tongues have spoken my tale, but still I am keeper of this story. The saga of the first battle of Moytora and the conquest of the Tuatha De Danann. The story of Tuon. I, Tuon, was once a man of wisdom and renown. I was the white ancient chieftain of the tribe of Sisera, first men to dwell in green and fertile Erin. I lived in peace until the great flood drowned my race, leaving me the solitary companion of bird and beast, alone in a land grown strange and desolate. For 22 years, I, Tuan, now chieftain without tribe, dwelt in waste places and empty fortresses, seeking shelter from wolves and shunning the marauding bands of strangers that haunted shores once mine. Then came Partholon and his people, strong men of sweet deeds and gentle ways. I dwelt in peace amongst them until a terrible pestilence destroyed them all. Once more I alone was left survivor, keeper of yet another tale, both blessed and cursed among men, Tuan, the white ancient. My strength left me, and I became gray haired, clawed, naked, and miserable in my old age. My own shadow frightened me. Even the sound of a bird in flight or the creaking of the wind blown bow made me cringe in my weakness. The creatures of the forest scented my presence and knew I was alone. The long wolves haunted my dwelling place, terrible shadows, silent and gray. They drove me from ruined fortresses to the forests, from the forest to the cliffs. There was no creature so weak it could not hunt me. There was no creature so timid it could not outface me. I learned to live as a beast, forgetting all that I had known as a man. I could pad softly as a wolf. I could run tirelessly as the boar. Yet still, deep in my heart, I craved the company of men, voices calling my name, hands grasping mine. One morning, gazing from the headland above my cave, I saw another fleet approach this sheltered isle. My heart leapt for joy as the great prows rounded the land. I followed them along the wind-torn cliffs, springing from rock to rock like a wild cat. Then, as the ships swung into anchor, I stopped to cool myself. Crouching over a pool to drink, I saw myself mirrored in bright water. I saw that I was hairy and naked. Claws curved from my hands and feet. No sign of my manhood was left. I beheld myself brother of beasts, not heroes. I looked and I wept, for on those faded sails I had seen the serpent and the rod, the insignia of my father's race. Yet now I did not dare approach them. I hid in my cave, and grief brimmed my heart. I could do no more than howl my lamentations to the earth and the sky. Only echoes answered my despair. Then a great storm arose, and the fleet pitched and tossed as if blown by a giant's breath. The waves raised the boats to the sky, and the wind caught them like the leaves of autumn and dashed them against the streaming rocks. The bowels of the ships were broken open by sharp stone and heavy water. The wind strode down from the heavens like a god carving a way through the banked storm clouds with forked spears of lightning and bolts of thunder. The lonely shelter of my cave was welcome to me as I watched the long ships scatter and break like matchwood, spilling their treasure of men. Above the clamor and tumult of the storm, there came a pitiful sound, thin and distant, as though from the ocean's depths, the sound of drowning men calling to their gods, crying for their loved ones. Then a great sadness came upon me, and the horror of that night weighed on me, pressing me down into a black slumber. I slept for many days, floating loose in dream time. I saw my mortal form change from aged man to powerful beast. In my dreams, I became a stag. Through the heaviness of sleep, I felt the beat of a new heart, the strength of young sinews and limbs. I awoke from my sleep. I became my dream. I, Tuan, was a stag. I was young again and glad of heart. My limbs were freed from the curse of age and sickness. I leapt with wild strides. The air curled round me. The ground shook beneath me, and the deer herd ran with me. I raised my antlers to salute the rising sun, and as the morning set fire to the snow white clouds, I sang of the coming of Nem and of my own transformation. I am Tuan. I am legend. I am the great horned stag. My skin is strong, rough, and red. I move easily across the land of Iran. From the headlands I turn to the rising sun and sing of the coming of Nem. It was Nem and his race who came to Iran in that great fleet, and of his 34 ships, only 9 escaped the storm and landed on our sacred isle. But the time of Nem was a time of suffering, for his people were sorely harassed by an alien race, the Fomer dark skinned barbarians born out of the northern darkness, led by their wizard king, Balor of the Evil Eye, and his warlord, Conan the Conqueror. I, a noble stag, ran free, but the people of Nemd, my people, were in bondage. Bravely they rose against their oppressors. They fought 3 terrible battles and came away conquerors, but in the 4th they were defeated and their army cut to pieces by the Fomer. Arthur, son of Nemd, was slain by Conan, and his misfortune broke Nem's heart, and soon after he died. But it was the last great battle, the Battle of Conan's Tower, that destroyed both races. For their fury was so great that they did not cease their killing until few were left on either side. The small group of Fomer who survived sailed back to Africa with Balor of the Evil Eye, and those left of the Nimdians scattered from the sacred Isle of Erin to the 4 corners of the earth. Fergus, the half-red son of Nemd, sailed to the land beyond Erin, and giving it his son's name Britain, settled there with his people. I, Tuan, grew old as a stag, but the old age another transformation awaited me, and I slept. Part 2. The Conquest of the Fur Bulb. I, Tuan, awoke from golden dreams in an empty land, hard with winter, white with snow. Once I, a royal stag, raced the ocean breezes, powerful as a storm, untiring as the sea swell. I sang of beauty and virtue, bright eyes and golden tresses, chariots of kings and diadems of queens. Now again the land was empty, the hills silent. I had lost my swiftness and my grace. I woke as a black boar with sharp tusks and yellow teeth to tear my prey. On my back a mane of bristles so sharp and high a plump apple might stick there and rot. But I was young again, and I was glad. I was king of the boar herds of Erin, strong and powerful, afraid of nothing. While I, Tuan, had slept, a new race of men had come to disturb my wild fastness and give echoing tongues to the dumb hills. They were the Furbolg, led by Eokai, their king. Greece had been the land of their birth, that far off country whence their fathers, children of Nem, had fled after the battle of Conan's tower. Eokai was a fortunate ruler and a good man and held the title of High King longer than any who had preceded him. The land flowered and children were born, warriors and farmers sharing the pride of Erin. But one day, I, Tuan, the secret one, watching from my lair, saw the sky darken over the fair countryside. Part 3. The Vision of Eokai Mac Eric. This was to be the last winter of Eokai's reign. King of Erin, his days had troubled by rumors of a great fleet led by Baylor of the Evil Eye, of black and green sails filling the western seas, casting their shadows before the setting sun. Father of his people, his sleep was broken by strange visions. His heart sad and anxious, Eokai called his wise man to him. The wizard Caesar came to his king. Eokai spoke. In my dream, I saw a great flock of black birds rising from the depths of the ocean. Covering our land, they tore our soft flesh with sharp beaks and fought with our people. But one amongst us rose up and cut off a wing from the noblest of them. Even so, I saw nightmare chasms choked with the bodies of the slain. The rivers ran red, and the black birds settled on mountains of skulls and feasted horribly on carrion and broken bones and bodies of our sons and brothers. I have spoken my dream, Caesar. Use your secret skills to unlock its meaning. Caesar did as he was asked, and by means of ritual and sorcery, divined the vision of the king, making plain what had been concealed by veils of sleep. Sad words I bring you, O king. From across the sea, warriors of the race of Nemd will come to Erin. They will come sailing the winds and the high air as the birds did, in a great fleet, 1,000 heroes in speckled sailed ships, with raven winged war witches presaging death. Evil days will come to you, signs to lead you astray, for this is a race skilled in all the arts of sorcery. They will be victorious in every battle. It was our bones the blackbirds fought over in your dream, for we will be the first slain, and the pickings represent our tributes. Great anguish filled the king's heart. His words were heavy and sorrowful. It is people of our own blood, sons of Nem, who come to Aaron as our enemies. My dream has foretold the terrible slaughter of kinsmen. And so it happened that Caesar spelled out the dream of Eochi that spoke of the coming of the Tuatha De Danann and told of the first battle of Moytura.